Welcome back to Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcoming back to the program. Well, now that I think about it, I don't know if... technically, I'm welcoming him back to the program, but this is his first time being on the program. He was here a couple of months ago along with Shanti Das and with Silence Shame, and now he is back on behalf of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Imara Canady is here, the National Director of Community Engagement and Communications for AHF. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Great to be here. Thank you so much.
Man, good to see you. This happened. This is how you know things are meant to happen. I mean, I literally got an email from him, responded back. He sent me the press conference about Out of the Closet Thrift Store, which had happened a couple of Saturdays ago here in Houston. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah. He was like, well, I'm in town, so we can do it. I was like, well, hey, I'm here, and I actually have free time. So,
yeah.
and he came up here. So welcome back. It's good to see you. So even though the event was a couple of weeks ago, tell us about Out of the Closet Thrift Store.
Well, Out of the Closet Thrift Store is one of the business lines of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, which is globally the world's largest nonprofit organization focused on addressing the HIV/AIDS epidemic. Mm-hmm. So AHF is in 44 countries and domestically is in 15 states in the District of Columbia. We have over 1.2 million individuals in care. And really, we're focused on, as I said, addressing the HIV epidemic. And our motto is simple, that we provide cutting-edge medicine and advocacy regardless of one's ability to pay. So Out of the Closet Thrift Store really allows two opportunities. One, it allows those of us that love to thrift to get some great deals and know that your money is going back to a great cause, because 96 cents of every dollar that is earned through the Out of the Closet Thrift Store or through our nonprofit AHF Pharmacies goes directly back into local communities to do the HIV/AIDS education, awareness, and prevention work that we know is needed in the local community. So yeah, nice. As well as it offers a non-stigmatized environment for those that want to get an HIV test or those that need to get their HIV medication. So it's a judgment-free, stigma-free environment to address this epidemic, and also some great fashions. I mean, from our opening a couple of weeks ago to even today, we have had some folks coming and finding some great deals. This lady was in earlier and found a Liz Claiborne dress, brand new, and it was $8.
Wow. See, look at that. I mean, thrifting is huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've found some of my dopest pieces at a thrift store, for real. Yeah. And we pride ourselves in trying to be a little cutting edge and hip, because we know thrifters are hip. Yeah, thrifters, they got some styles, and you got to represent. So no doubt. Yeah, so we're real proud of the thrift store. This is actually our 20th store that we've opened nationwide. Wow. The first one here in the Houston market, and we really just wanted to be a great location to come find some great deals at a great price. We had some folks out that actually told us, we didn't know this, so good to hear that we are actually cheaper than most of the other thrift stores in the market. So you find some great deals, and if you want to come through and get a free HIV test, know your status, that's also an empowering thing that you can do to take control of one's own health. Yeah, there's so much I want to cover, and so I'm glad that you're listening. Mentioned that you're listening to Access Houston, talking to Imara Canady from AIDS Healthcare Foundation. First, tell us about AHF and how long you all have been around, because you mentioned this is the 10th store.
This is the 20th store.
20th store
nationwide.
And so that's nothing to scoff at. I mean,
20th
store nationwide. It's like 20 different markets. So give us a history on AHF.
So AHF actually started 3 decades ago, a little over 3 decades ago, as the AIDS Hospice Foundation. Our president and founder, Michael Weinstein, and a group of advocates out in the Los Angeles community started the AIDS Hospice Foundation
because literally they saw their friends dying day by day in undignified spaces to what we now know are complications due to AIDS. So it started as a dignified place for those that were living their final days with AIDS to have a dignified place to spend the final days of their existence here on Earth. And then fast forward a few years later, when we begin to find treatments to address the HIV/AIDS epidemic, what Michael recognized is that there was a different level of awareness needed to be done in terms of education about the epidemic and the disease and prevention and treatment. And so that is when we then shifted to become the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And really, it's just been quite interesting and really a dynamic history of when you are focused, fearless, and focused on service to humanity, we've been able to grow and really be in communities that we know are needing the services of HIV care, treatment, and prevention. And so we, like I said, run out of the Closet Thrift Stores. We run nonprofit pharmacies as well as healthcare centers and wellness centers. And again, in any of our facilities, if you come, you test positive, money is not a barrier to get you in and keeping you in the care that you need. And that's what we're committed to no matter where we are across the globe.
And I'm sure that is very comforting for people who are listening, because I'm sure a lot of times with any element that one comes across, but especially with HIV and AIDS, like that, I can only imagine what one is going through mentally when they find out. And then everything else starts to trickle down. Oh, well, how am I going to get care? How am I going to get treatment? How am I going to pay for these prescription drugs? Because I know that they cost, an arm and a leg, and I don't have insurance. And so I'm sure that is really, really comforting. And I'm sure you all have many stories that you can tell about how you've helped folks.
Exactly. Because quite honestly, many of the individuals that we serve, whether, it's in countries outside of the United States or here domestically, they are, even if they are insured, oftentimes they may be underinsured. So that's what we just try to be, that comfort to say, let's focus on how we'll address that, but most importantly, let's get you in care. And the other thing, KG, that I'll say that we're very committed to is that the CDC has said that, if someone tests positive within 60 to 90 days, you need to get them in care. Well, AHF knows that that's not good enough. So our commitment, because anything, think about it in our own lives, 60 to 90 days, your whole life can transition in terms of, something that will definitely keep you out of getting into care and staying into care. So our commitment, and this is a mandate from the top down, that if someone tests positive, no more than 72 hours from when they test positive, we will get them linked to care.
That's amazing.
And to provide the assistance that they need to as best as possible stay in care. And I'm not going to say that it's 100% that across the board everyone stays in care, because there's a variety of societal issues that may happen. Yes, but our commitment is to do the work that's needed to do to keep people, get them in care and keep them in care. And that's no matter what time. We have also mobile testing units. So people, particularly here in the Houston area, may have seen this macked out Mercedes van, cargo van, that we've transitioned into be a mobile testing unit. And they're all over town in non-traditional hours. Going from 10 in the morning to staying through 3 and 4 in the morning. Wow. To make sure that we are bringing the services to the community. So they're at the clubs, they're at the restaurants, they're at your street festivals, they're at the parties, wherever we know that folks might be, and it's free, it's confidential, and it only takes 1 minute. And whether it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning, if you test positive, we ensure that you get linked to care at that moment.
Oh wow, that is amazing. That is amazing and fast moving. And I'm so glad that you all are out here doing this. And because what I've noticed, the challenge with here, locally, and seeing how it is, nationally and worldwide, is trying to erase the stigma of HIV and AIDS. Because, with the community work that I do here in Houston, especially with this platform, I get educated on a lot of things, and HIV/AIDS is one of the ones where I, really went through a training course just through, just interviewing, people like yourself. And what I have found is that this is as common as high blood pressure,
yes,
diabetes, hypertension. Like HIV is up there with it, but it is the stigma that has people, so afraid of it and acting the fool and prejudging and all of these things.
Right.
When at the same time, HPV, it doesn't have a cure either.
Right.
And you can get that, through having sex as well. And so, it's not fair. And then the more that I did some research and just looking at the history, I was like, oh, it clicked, because they wanted to, when it came out, the narrative is that it was a gay man's disease.
Exactly.
And that is why the stigma is so, out of control when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And it's total BS.
Yeah. I mean, let's just give, I don't think we need to get caught up in the statistics, but I think so that we can create an awareness.
Sure. Absolutely.
And, and part of it is, in transparency, is that the early days of what we now know to be complications due to AIDS and HIV, it really could be viewed as a white gay male's disease. But now, as we've transitioned, because of the stigma, because we in the Black American community, we're not talking about HIV, but much less we're not really talking about health.
Right.
And providing our best life. We use that term, live your best life, but part of living your best life is to live a healthy life.
Come on.
So whether it's dealing with diabetes, whether it's dealing with high blood pressure, whether it's dealing with cholesterol, none of that is truly living your best life. And the reality of it now, KG, is that HIV is a critical illness just like any other critical illness.
Right.
Because if we can get you into care, which is very, should be one of the simplest things now,
absolutely,
and keep you maintained in care, which is a regimen now for most of 1 pill a day, that you can lead a fruitful, healthy life.
20, 30, 50 years.
And a healthy sexual life.
Yeah.
So I don't want folks to think that now you have HIV, oh God, no, what does that mean? No, I mean, there's, and that conversation can happen between you and your medical provider. But, the reality is that let's just talk about here in Houston. Houston ranks 8th nationally in terms of number of total reported HIV/AIDS cases. 6 out of every 10 diagnosed HIV infection in the Houston-Harris County area are African Americans. And an estimated 1 in 90 Houstonians is living with HIV and AIDS. And then let's just grow it a little bit bigger and just focus on the Black American community. So nationally, Black Americans represent about 14 to 15% of the U.S. population. Right. But we represent close to 50% of new HIV diagnosis.
That's out of
so
control.
what that says to me is we have got to address this issue in our community in a very different way. And we don't need to be worrying about what people are doing in their bedrooms.
Right.
We need to be empowering people to make smart decisions about what happens in the bedroom, who they're doing what with, and to normalize the conversation.
Yeah.
So I tell sisters, just as like you are interested in, what's his FICA score, where he lives and all that, we need to be having that conversation, sister to brother, brother to brother, sister to sister, no judgment, about have you tested yourself?
Right.
Have you gone and gotten an HIV test? And as a matter of fact, I love you so much. Why don't we go do that together?
Why don't we do it together? Yeah.
And then get your girlfriends, brothers. We need to be getting our boys. Let's go get these tests together, and it's all good.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, for us brothers, if you want to be cool, one of the coolest things to know is that your status is all good, and that your health is all good. And the other thing I say is, brothers, we got to wrap it up.
Yep.
I'm not telling folks, we would be naive to be telling folks, abstinence. That is one tool in the toolbox, but that's for you to choose.
Right.
But if you are engaging in sexual activity, one of the greatest protections you can get still to this day is use of a condom. And sisters, don't just assume that he gonna have it on him. There ain't nothing sexier than a sister saying, let's be safe about it.
Yeah.
So it's just about normalizing the conversation. Let's have some fun with the conversation and encouraging each other.
But people aren't ready to, they still get embarrassed when you publicly talk about sex.
They do, but you know what? There's some fun ways that you can do it. And there's it's really rethinking it.
Yeah.
It's rethinking how we get to that space. I have a good girlfriend of mine in Oakland, and she says, when she's dating a guy, first couple of dates they hang out, and say, okay, this is looking like we might be around for a while, and she'll say, well, hey, I've got an idea for our next date, and they'll go to a sex shop together. But to break that barrier of discomfort, to say, let's just go ease over here. We can stop by Erotic City or whatever it's called in your community, and then let's go over here and grab some chicken.
I love it. But listen, here the brand new Out of the Closet Thrift Store is open right here in Houston, 1435 Westheimer Road. So it's in the
Montrose. The Montrose
area. Yeah. So open now. What are the hours of operation?
So Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And right now, as we finish through the permitting level, you can come by and do your HIV testing, free and confidential. And then we'll eventually be having a full regiment of not only HIV tests, but testing for other STDs, as well as our nonprofit AHF Pharmacy will be opening up. And it's not just a place for HIV medications. So you can come, get your scripts filled. And the good news is that you're knowing that while you're there, 96 cents of every dollar is reinvested back into the community. And I'll tell you, there's some great deals at the Out of the Closet Thrift Store. I was just there, and I had to hold back. Leave some stuff for some other folks. But so please come out and join us. And please also make donations. You can donate there in the store, or if you've got larger donations, you can go to outofthecloset.org, and there's a phone number that you can call, and a truck will come and pick up your couch or pick up your bed or whatever it is that you want to donate, and there's just some great prices, and like I said, it's given to a cause that is impacting this community.
Indeed. Well, it's amazing, and I'm so glad that all of this went down.
Same here, brother. Appreciate
this was
it.
Meant to happen. Imara Canady, the National Director of Community Engagement and Communications for AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Brother, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. And just, hey, wrap it up, know your status, and let's keep this community going strong.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcome in the studio, one of H-Town's own. He is a junior at Northshore, but more importantly, he is the star of the OWN network show, David Makes Man.
Yes,
Ladies
sir.
and gentlemen, Akili McDowell is on the show. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good. How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. So tell us about yourself.
At the end of the day, I'm really a regular 16-year-old. I love to play sports. I play football. I run track for North Shore. I love to watch TV and just kick it and chill, man.
Yeah.
I be vibing.
So you have the show on the OWN network. David Makes Man. Was acting something that well, first, what kind of show is it? I don't even. It could be a doc show. It could be a scripted drama. It could be reality. Tell us about David Makes Man.
David Makes Man is based off a 14-year-old prodigy. He grows up in the city of Miami, Florida, and he has to choose between the streets that raised him or higher form of education. And he uses the power of imagination and he code switches throughout the day just in order to survive. Whether you think it's for the right reasons or not, everything you see David do, he does for a reason. You just got to stay on this emotional roller coaster with him.
Yeah. And the show is entering its
first season. Yes, sir.
And the 4th episode is about to air.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it airs when?
Wednesday at 9 o'clock on OWN TV.
Okay. Wednesday at 9, Houston. We got to set that. Lock that in your DVR. Now I got a new show. I've been looking for a new show.
You don't want to miss it
to watch. So I'm really intrigued. What got you into acting?
Ever since I was young, as a young boy growing up, being raised by a single mother, I always was in. I always loved entertainment. Love watching TV. Love watching Michael Jackson. Actually, it's a video of me on YouTube, me dancing in Young Michael. They call me Young Michael Jackson back in the day.
Word.
So yeah, but actually I was 9 years old. I was watching That's So Raven. Me, my mom, and my sister. I had a dog named Sugar at the time. She was a black and white Boston Terrier, but yeah, just her brother. The way he was just so energetic and full of energy, I could imagine myself in that character. I could see myself there. So that really inspired me to act, and I begged and begged and begged my mom, and she was like, all right, hey, I'm gonna get you started in this, but don't waste my money.
Okay,
And I was like, Yes, ma'am. I was nervous at first, but I feel like I'm doing good so far.
So what was your first, like your first audition or your first role, or the first thing that you went after in acting? Because clearly you play sports. Like, that's, oh my God, we are so amazing. We could do everything. But what was your first audition or acting experience, your first little taste of it?
My first, of course, when I first started, I got enrolled into classes. And I kind of, was feeling my way into it and seeing and learning, of course. But my first audition was for an Academy commercial with Emmitt Smith. And I actually got it, so that was really dope. And, me being from Texas, everybody loves football. Everybody plays involved in some type of outdoor sports. So that was amazing, really, like looking up to a mentor and a Hall of Famer.
No doubt. You're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to Akili McDowell, one of the stars of David Makes Man on the OWN network. So football season about to start.
Yes, sir.
What position you play? You look like oof. I don't know. I mean, you could be. Well, you got on clothes because I can see your body. Like if you got legs, like I could say a running back. I could say. I don't know. What position do you play?
I play safety.
Safety. Oh.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Safety and slot receiver.
Okay. All right. So, what's how your team's looking in the preseason?
We looking pretty good, As Northshore we like to do, we really just like to take it one game at a time, one practice at a time. We really work hard and outwork opponents.
Mm-hmm. What you think this year is what you think y'all gonna do this year?
I'm looking forward to a pretty good season, honestly, because we didn't put in so much work over the summer and really just overtime, so the results should pay out.
How was the summer? What did you do this summer?
Of course, I did press for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Met a lot of people, a lot of nice new faces, built a lot of connections. But also in my meantime, when I was away from shooting and press and stuff, I come back home to Houston and work out with the team and stuff.
Nice. So with this whole acting world, you being introduced to Hollywood and the many facets of it, and
yes.
meeting, I'm sure, people that you grew up watching, and
Oprah, MBJ, Miss Rashad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's so Michael B. Jordan is one of your mentors.
Yeah.
What is that like?
He's honestly he's really like a big brother to me, for real. Like, he just always gives me advice because, he's been through it. He's been in the game a long time, and with him being at the status he is, he has a lot. He's very wise, but he's down to earth. He's very cool. He's a chill person, so he just give me advice to just stay myself and don't let this business change you.
Your favorite Michael B. Jordan movie?
Of course, probably Creed. The first Creed.
The first Creed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
I really enjoyed him when he was on that TV series, man. That was dope.
Wait, which one was that? What was that?
What's the name of that one?
Oof. It escapes me too.
It was a young MBJ.
Yeah. Oh, The Wire.
The Wire was dope.
The Wire. Yeah. Okay, Akili, watching The Wire. Listen to Access Houston, talking to our very own Houston's own Akili McDowell, who is a star of the OWN network TV show David Makes Man. So, with everything that you got going on and everything that's about to happen to you, I mean, you got your whole life ahead of you. Well, I guess I can't ask this question for it definitively. Right now, which one are you most passionate about, football or acting?
I really love both, honestly. It really hurt to see my team, go on and win the state championship without me. But, it's cool because I'm also living my dream out here and acting. And it's always something I wanted to do, but I've been living the best of both worlds. So I really have love for both, but I have a really...
You keep it smart answer. That's a good answer. What is it that you want people to know, or what is it that you want people to probably take away when they watch the show?
Really, just each character has their own backstory. Like every character, they might put on this mask, of course, that you might see, and you might not like it at all. But once you really get to know the character, you will be able to relate to each and every character. You don't necessarily have to be from the inner city or be black to understand this show. But it does give you an insight of the black community and LGBTQ community and all that stuff. It's real. We're coming at you unapologetically black, showing you the power of imagination, all that.
Oh, man. Akili, you got me geek. Like when I go home, I'm going to hit this on demand
yes, sir.
and check it out.
Catch up, watch episode 1 and 2 before episode 3 airs tonight at 9:00.
And every Wednesday, Wednesday at 9 on OWN. Man, I don't know. I'm so full right now. I'm happy for your success. I'm anxious to see what more we're going to see of you, because I can see it in you. Like
yes,
you definitely got it. You got any shout outs? You want to say hello to any of your peeps?
Of course, shout out to God. You know, I wouldn't be anywhere without him. But of course, shout out to my beautiful mom. I know she's out there listening. Shout out to the whole OWN family. Thank you for bringing me in, welcoming me with arm in arm, showing me so much love. I love all y'all, man. Shout out to the Davids of the world. Shout out to all the fans of the David Makes Man. I love y'all for real.
No doubt, man. Very poised for a 16-year-old. I'm beyond impressed, man, and much success to you. I can't wait for your success and your future. So, big ups to you, young king. I know you're gonna do well.
Thank you, much love, man.
And thank you for coming on, and thank you for listening to Access Houston.